Hi everyone, Lisa here from Fireside Strategic. Welcome to our video cast, Humanity Builds Better Businesses, where we celebrate leaders that do transformational work within organizations, helping their clients grow and lead teams with humanity. Today, I'm chatting with Jennifer Deane, founder of Jennifer Deane Coaching. Jennifer's an executive coach, and we're excited to have you here. Thank you so much for joining.
Awesome. I'm excited to be here, Lisa. Thanks for having me.
So could you just start, coaching
Yeah,
is
yeah.
something different for different people. Would love to learn a little bit more about what it means to you. What do you do?
Awesome. Yeah. Well, coaching to me is really a structure for helping people accelerate their insights, for them to accelerate their goals, and for them to, really become essentially the leaders that they want to become in their lives and in their organizations and in the world. So I often say that my greatest competition in terms of being a coach is really some great books, lots of reflective time and insight, and simply coaching provides a structure to really expedite that process and create a forum for that, and to bring that into bring that reflection in a structured way into people's busy lives.
I love that. It's no easy task to compete against great books, but you seem to do it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we often as well bring great books into the coaching. So
Hmm.
coaching for me also is a partnership. It's a partnership with my client or the team I'm working with, and to really help them learn about self and each other, but also to grow. And so that we often will learn through books and other structures and other supports that we bring into coaching.
That's beautiful. So why do you do this? Is there a mission, this
Mm.
cause that you're working for with coaching, using coaching as your toolkit?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I essentially primarily work with women in leadership. And, my big why is to really accelerate gender balanced leadership. I really believe that I can make a difference there. And, I don't know if you're aware, but the recent statistics are it's going to take 257 years for us to reach parity in terms of leadership. And for me, that's too long. So
Mm,
I believe through my work coaching both men and women that I can help accelerate that. And so that's really primarily my why.
wow, I just got shivers up my spine when you said that. You're right, that is too long, and I love that you're working toward that.
Yeah.
How does that work? What does it look like? What do you do with clients to help them achieve those goals and in turn help achieve that parity that is so very needed?
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I learned through experience and research that there's some fundamental areas that if we put a focus on for both for women, men, and the organization, that we can really help expedite the process of helping women rise into leadership positions and balancing those tables. So essentially, one of the key things is to really zero in on the individual relationship that exists between a woman and her direct leader of whatever gender. So I work very closely with senior female leaders and their leaders, because it's
Mm,
in that relationship that ultimately things are accelerated or decelerated. So that's one trigger point, one lever
that makes
that
sense.
really focus on. Yeah. Secondly, there's a whole strategy around helping underrepresented populations in general move through the pipeline process within an organization. And a lot of it involves particular achievements or experiences that help position people for promotion. So another thing that I do is really educate the entire organization on what are those activities that really help people rise, whatever gender they are. And so those are things like having the right amount of sponsorship, the right amount of mentorship, having experience and access to uh, um, situations and experiences that help individuals be challenged, so stretch assignments, things like that. So those are the levers, those are the important factors that I help organizations understand, and then create a pathway for people to achieve and experience those that will then expedite their promotion.
I love how you take this concept that feels so lofty. so big. Equality for women in the workplace is something that we've been trying to tackle. I don't know, it feels like for millennia, and it feels like it's this never ending journey. And you break it down to these component parts that are so applicable that a
Mm,
company can take and work on, and it feels accessible. I
mm.
think it's a special talent, and it's a special toolkit.
Thank you. I'm excited to have, been able to put my experience and the research into practice. Exactly. I'm so glad that you're picking up on the accessibility of this work, because it really isn't rocket science, but it is putting into practice some low-hanging fruit that will really start to make a difference. And my daughter actually interviewed me the other day for her class project. I was super
That's
proud.
very cute.
And I was, someone who was inspiring, and she said, Mom, what's your goal? Why are you doing your work? And I said, well, I want to shave 257 years off the 257 years that's predicted to bring women to equal leadership positions. So I get real inspired, and I'm also excited that we've been able to, myself and I work with a partner, we've been able to find a way to help move the needle.
That's beautiful. Would love to take a step back and learn a little bit about your journey.
Yeah.
What's your story that led you to this work?
Yeah, I have a pretty cool story. Both my parents were self-employed solopreneurs. My mom was a coach, and coaching,
Oh,
back, this was sort of early 90s, was not really, you'd say you're a coach and they'd say, for what team, and so she was one of the founding members of an association that we all subscribe to as coaches, the International Coach Federation in Canada, in Vancouver, where I'm from. And so, but from about age 7, we'd be doing vision boards, and we would be, scaling how purposeful we were today at the dinner table. So I was exposed to the value of being asked reflective questions, which is primarily what coaching is, very early. And then my dad being a consultant, I really saw as well what being self-employed and what that meant in terms of lifestyle. And so I was really inspired to be a coach. I was a fairly early in my career. I found coaching, and I've been coaching for about 22 years now. And so that's really the heart of my story, is that I just was exposed to it so early, and its value, that I wanted to have that impact in the world.
that's amazing. The fact that from such a young age you saw entrepreneurship, you saw coaching, and it kind of seeped into your entire being, and now you're bringing that to the world at large.
Absolutely.
What is it about this particular challenge of empowering women in the workplace that got you? Why this one? Why this mission?
Mm. Well, I think it has. I believe that it is the unfinished business of our time, as to steal from Antonio Guterres.
Hmm.
I love that saying. It just inspires me so much. And if I can be a part of that, I am a part of it and want to continue to be. I also have 2 daughters. And so I'm motivated to essentially change that situation for them and for all women. I just believe the time is now. We've hit the time, and I just want to be part of the solution.
That makes so much sense. Would you mind telling us a little bit about what kind of clients do you work with? You mentioned that you work with women, but also with their leaders to create the right environment, the right relationship, the right structure within a company to empower
Yeah.
women. But more specifically, is there a certain type of company, a certain
Mhm,
type of industry, a
mhm.
space that's kind of that really inspires you, that you enjoy working with?
Totally. Great question. And I like I want to make a difference. I want to make a difference as fast as possible. So I've targeted STEM, so science, technology,
Hmm.
engineering, and math, and construction, what we like to say trade centric organizations. I don't, trade-centric replaces the word male-dominated because I don't like the connotation. So trade-centric and then STEM would be the organizations where there's the greatest opportunity for gender parity at the leadership level. So targeting that, I believe, will have the bigger impact. So that's where I'm focused, and primarily companies that are around 100 to 300 people. And the reason why is because they're usually looking for a solution. They want to change their numbers. They want, for the right reasons, to tackle this problem. And they have, they don't have necessarily a huge ingrained set of development processes. And so they're open really to engaging in new things quickly to make an impact. So that's really the sweet spot. And that's where I believe I can have the biggest impact. So starting there.
I think that's amazing. You kind of took the toughest area in a way, the area where the problem is so clear. You just
Yes.
went into it. And I love that. It's so impactful.
There are so many companies that are doing so much about this right now, and not just for gender balance, but really for all underrepresented populations. So it's really such a beautiful time to be doing this work and seeing so much interest in getting help and support. That's really what I'm seeing out there.
It makes so much sense.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder, it's been a pretty crazy year with the pandemic and everything going virtual and us seeing into each other's homes.
Mm-hmm.
How has your work changed in response to this pandemic and these conditions? And more particularly, how have the roles of women shifted just based on what you're seeing?
Yeah. Well, my work hasn't changed a lot because I have been working virtually with people for a long time. However, the topics that we're discussing they get very deep very quickly right now. There's so many people impacted by our context, our state of the world, that there's no fluff left in any of our conversations. They're all straight to the point. So that's a shift in the actual conversations I'm having. In terms of what I'm noticing are as special changes for women is the, I think, well documented pressure that we've brought the work now into the home. There's so many people with children that are also homeschooling. So there's a couple of benefits and a couple of drawbacks to that. I mean, the drawbacks are significant in that they're actually adding time to reaching gender balance. I mean, we're seeing women leave the workforce because they feel they have to make a decision. So those are really negative and harmful. I think on the upside, in general, what's coming from the pandemic is an absolute increase in people's empathy. I mean, I'm seeing it in everyone, just more permission, more flexibility, more support, more empathy, more real conversations that are happening everywhere. So that's one good thing. However, it's having a pretty dramatic impact on progress here for women.
It's such a tough time, tough time for women, such a tough time for the world. But I think it's great that there are people like you to help uplift these women and to help, fix some of the challenges that everyone's facing. It's very interesting too that the problems have gotten deeper, more real.
Yeah.
Something that I would love to talk a little bit more about is when we've talked about in the past, you talked about PromoteHer.
Yeah.
And in particular, your programs, your 90-day programs. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. Yeah. So in partnership with another phenomenal woman named Lisa Martin, I've developed this program called PromoteHer. And essentially it has three pillars. It's a program that we implement in organizations in cohorts of women. So we have cohorts of up to 10, sometimes more women participating in a 90-day program that involves assessment. So we've developed an assessment around promotability that they engage in with their direct leader. And their direct leader is also involved in the program. So the assessment piece involves their direct leader. Then we embark on 10 weeks of education, and the individual participants and their direct leader attend some of these sessions together around, how do we engage in really effective career advancement conversations? How do we really set up what support, what sponsorship, what mentorship you need to be successful? We educate as well around what we call the 5 vital skills of promotability. And those are skills that we dive into in terms of, knowing your value, understanding vitality and what it is to reach optimal capacity. We look at vision, visibility, and areas that really are important for us to stretch into to demonstrate our value for the organization. And finally, voice, which we work on in terms of, really finding our authentic voice, but also voicing our ideas, our positions, all of those things as a way of, signaling to the organization that we're ready to rise. And the final aspect of that program actually involves the greater culture of the organizations in which we deliver. And as this challenge, this gender equality challenge, it's not about the women changing themselves. We're helping women really, position themselves for promotion. But the issue is bigger than that. It's really cultural within the organization. So we work with these cohorts to develop what we call a culture project, which then has them look at their organization through the lens of equality and find opportunities where they can actually put forward ideas that will improve the culture. So they, as a cohort, come up with an idea, they pitch it to senior leadership, and we've seen some of these ideas actually be implemented in the organizations we're working in and make a difference. So that's primarily the 90-day program, and we're like, as we said, we're really focused on delivering this within those industries, STEM and construction, to really make an impact there. The other benefit is there's women from different cohorts engaging with each other, from different cohorts, different companies, different locations, and there's a lot of beauty and learning that comes from that cross-pollination.
Wow, you've built an entire community over
Yes,
here.
yes, absolutely. And we're committed to the long-term work with these organizations. So we've now been at this for a couple of years, and we've had a couple of organizations put more than one cohort through, and we're really excited that it's starting to have an impact on the culture within the organization.
It's so exciting that you already had a couple of cohorts. You're starting to see traction. You're starting to see the outcomes. And I think it's
Yes.
so smart how, similarly to your coaching, you're engaging the women, you're engaging the leader, you're changing the entire environment. And it seems like it's coming along really beautifully.
Absolutely. I mean, there's just so much to do and so much opportunity, and so there are so many people doing amazing work in this field, and I truly believe that we just need so much of it. So there's just such great work. I'm excited to be part of it, and we need more as well.
I love it. So what does the future hold for you? It's just still the beginning of 2021. You have these incredible projects that you're working on, these programs. What's your goal for the coming year?
Wow, that's a great question. To continue to grow this program, PromoteHer, and get the word out. Really, we're new in the market in terms of being a solution provider here in this way. So our goal is to speak. We're giving a lot. We did a research paper that outlines some of the research that our program's built on, and we're sharing that. I believe in just giving a lot so that we can increase our impact. So we're doing a lot of speaking, sharing about our program, and then of course just delivery. We're just delivering the program and looking for ways to scale to make a bigger impact. So that's what the year is all about.
That's so exciting.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, good luck with that scaling. I think it's such important work, and I think it's needed. And this
Mhm.
is the time when it's needed. You're absolutely spot on. Well, look, Jennifer, today we talked about so many interesting topics around promoting women, around the data they use, around the type of clients that you work with in your future. Would love to take a little step back and just ask, when you are not doing this incredible work, when you're not coaching or working through PromoteHer, what do you like to do for fun?
Oh, great question. I love the trees, the forest. We live 5 minutes from a ski hill here and
Oh,
5 minutes
so jealous.
walk to the ocean. So I spend my days walking along the ocean. I ski. I hang out with my family and my dog. I paddleboard. I love traveling when we can and when it's safe. And cooking, wine, coffee. So lots of things, and ultimately, really spending a lot of time outside is really what for me defines fulfillment. So lots of fresh air.
I feel like you just said all the things that I like.
Awesome. Well,
We're
I
on the
knew.
same page. What a beautiful way to spend your time. And look,
Yeah.
if any of our audience wants to follow you and support the Promote Her movement, what are some areas where they can do that?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'd love you to check out our website. It's one page, so it's pretty simple, doesn't take a lot of time. It's promotehernow.com.
Mm-hmm.
And on there, you can find the research paper that we wrote. That's there. There's a 10-minute webcast that explains the program in more detail. So please go there. We're doing primarily our social is on LinkedIn. So we have a pretty active page there, Promote Her. And my own website also, you can get a sense of the one-to-one more detailed coaching work, and that's jenniferdeane.ca. Deane is Deane.
Beautiful. Well,
Yeah.
look, Jennifer, thank you so much for joining us today. I am walking away feeling inspired, and I think our audience will too.
Oh, thank you so much. It's been a great pleasure to get to know you and learn about your work as well. So I look forward to staying in connection with you.
Thank you.